So I have always been an FDM guy. Resin has always been one of those things that just hasn't been for me. It's too messy. There's a lot of cleanup. It's always been a hassle, or at least that's what I thought. This is a Halot X1. Welcome back to the Printosaurus. I'm Aaron, and today we have the Halot X1. Creality sent us over and asked if I was interested in reviewing it. We're going to see how easy out of the box it prints, what the print quality looks like, is there any hidden surprises, and is there anything else you really need to know about it? So we're going to cover all of that and more. Let's go ahead and get to it. I've got things moved out to the garage. It is time to start working with this printer and seeing what it's all about. The Creality Halot X1, and before we do that, we need to talk about some specs. So let's start with the obvious. The amber cover here, full extension, you've got plenty of room to work with, opens and closes nicely. I don't think you're going to have any issues with that. USB ports up top and the LCD screen. I like that because they are out of the way. You can avoid some resin spills and whatnot on those, which is nice. So opening this thing back up, let's talk about things in more detail. The Halot X1 build plate slides in and out with ease. It is very simple and easy to use and also features a twist to release build plate. The screen is a 16K monochrome LCD measuring at 10.1 inches. And this setup is unique. It has a top-down movable optical system. So what that means is the build plate stays stationary and the resin vat actually moves up to meet the build plate. So the screen also introduces something called intelligent exposure, which is 92 independent light zones. And what that basically means is as you place your object that you're going to print on the screen, only those areas light up, which is supposed to extend the life of the screen. I do have an added accessory with this kit. It was sent over to me, and that is the automatic feeding unit that you see over here to the side. Now what that is it's basically a pump that pumps your resin into the printer, and it also heats it as it pumps in, or you have the option to heat it if you want to. The vat itself doesn't offer any heating, which is unfortunate because I'm in a colder climate. It's wintertime here, and it would have been useful to have that heated, but we were able to successfully print. We'll talk more about that. But this unit overall worked pretty well. Connects USB-C in the back, and then there's a tube that runs to it. And like I said, it has a pump. If you're using the Halot resin, it has RFID, so that unit also automatically detects what type of resin is being used, and the machine knows what to do. All right, so it is finally warm enough out here to really start printing, and that is what we're here to do, and that's what you guys really want to see. So I'm not going to waste any more time. We are going to start with the demo print that comes on the Halot X1. The reason why I'm starting with that is because it's still a little bit on the colder side, so I want to play around with some of the exposure settings to make sure we get that dialed in before we start printing something we really want to print. So let's talk about the LCD real quick. You've got two options you're greeted with, print and settings. If you go to settings, you have an option for automatic feed, and that is that automatic feed unit. Now, what's cool about this is you can feed resin in, and you can also have it pump it out of your vat, which helps with cleanup. The reason why I'm going into this is I want to make sure that I have my heating enabled, and I want to turn the temperature all the way up because it is a little bit colder. So I'm going up to 45 degrees Celsius for my temperature, and I just want to make sure that's all good. Now you can hit the feed in button here if you want to, or when you go to kick off your print by going to print and selecting your print, it's going to load it. And then once it loads it, it's going to give you the option to enable that automatic feeding, and then it will take over and automatically feed to the right level and then kick off your print. So that's what we're going to do. We do have an option once we hit that little print button. We can go down to adjust settings, and if you scroll down, and the screen's pretty responsive, we can do our exposure time. So what I settled on for, it's about 40 degrees out here in the shop, 45 degrees. I know I'm crazy, I'm wearing a t-shirt. But 2.5 seconds seem to do really well with this machine. The vat itself isn't heated, so we're really just dependent on that filament being hot and it staying somewhat warm in the enclosure, which it did a pretty good job. So we kicked off that print, and let's see the results. So our first test print was the demo print that is included with the Halot X1. And overall, it turned out really well. I did a sloppy job removing some of these supports, so you do see some scar marks, things like that. But overall, the print was successful. One thing that I do want to mention that I will show you here is the bottom of this print. So you can see the layer lines and stuff for where it's stuck to the build plate. And that is because of that quick release setup. There are recesses and things. So you're gonna wanna make sure you print with a raft. So yes, use that raft. It is going to make your projects turn out a lot better, especially if you are dependent on a base that needs to be extremely flat. So I picked out two other models, and they are going to be from the TV show Fallout. If you guys have watched it, it's a great show. I like it. So I'm going to do Power Armor, and I'm also going to do the Ghoul. So I think the Ghoul was a pretty cool character. So we're going to get ready to load those and kick those off. There's one other project that I want to share with you today. So that last project starts with an idea, and that idea is this drawing that you can see here. This is something that my daughter did, and I'm going to introduce you to an application that I have really started to love, and that is called Tripo AI. And what that is an AI-based application that you can take a drawing and you can take a prompt and you can turn it into something that you can 3D print. I'm excited to tell you all about it. So let's jump on a computer and I will show you how I make this, without spoiling it, look like this. So let's check it out. So to show you how easy this is to do, we're going to jump over on the computer and we are going to fire up Tripo Studio. And once you are in your studio, you can upload, you can use a prompt, you can browse around and use something someone else has created even if you want to. But we are going to take that picture that I talked about earlier, that kitty that my daughter drew, and we are going to upload that. And I've also customized the prompt. You can do this all on your own. You can use help from something like ChatGPT if you want to just kind of fine tune and really capture whatever it is you want to do with your picture in a prompt. And I think we knocked this out of the park. It is fast to upload and generate. The workflow is very simple. You can export this as an STL. You can export it as an object file. You can import this into your 3D drawing application and fine tune things if you want to. But what I did today, I didn't have to do anything. I downloaded it as an STL and imported it into my slicer and basically hit print. I added supports where needed and I just let it run and do its thing. It was a 10-hour print and it turned out amazing. It was so easy to use Tripo AI to do this. If you want to try Tripo 3.0 yourself, check out the link in the description. New users signing up through my link get 500 extra credits, and there's also a discount code for 60% off the first month of the professional plan. And look at this kitty cat. It is phenomenal. And the Halot X1 did a fabulous job. Guess what? We have more prints to look at. We have our Fallout prints. They turned out really good. Spoiler alert. I'm really impressed with the Halot X1 so far. It has printed extremely well, especially since the weather has warmed up. We have been printing nonstop. So let's look at those prints. So my second test print here was the Power Armor print, and it turned out extremely good. I really like the level of detail the armor has, and I just think that this is a fantastic print. It is going to paint really nice. So very happy with my first test print that I uploaded and printed on the Halot X1. Now, same with my Ghoul. It turned out equally as good as the Power Armor did. I really like how smooth overall the texture and everything is on these prints. I think it's going to be perfect in terms of being able to paint it. I don't think there's going to be any prep work needed. These turned out really good. Again, very satisfied with the quality of print the Halot X1 has done so far. All right, so let's talk about cleanup. Resin is messy. It's one of those things that I talked about really early on in this video that I'm not a resin guy because it is very messy. I like this unit and I like the addition of that automatic feeder because I like that it can pump resin in and out of the unit. It doesn't pump it all out, and that's okay because it pumps out enough that when we have to work with our vat, which I will say is also nice compared to some of the others, because I can almost one-handed pull this out, but I like the quick release. There's no tabs or anything like that. And the spout is super easy to use. Some of the other ones I have, the filament like overflows and stuff like that, but this drains nicely back into the unit. And you can see here, I have just a little bit of resin left after I pumped it in. So that automatic feeding unit, in terms of cleanup, worked really well. And it is something that I like a lot. The other thing that I like, I do like the quick release here, and I'm gonna pull this out. And the quick release of the prints, not having to use a scraper or anything, is really nice. Cleanup was hard at first till I figured out a way to do it, because you've got, you know, all the recess and stuff like that gets filament stuck in. So I'm going to show you, let me show you how I remedied that situation. So here's what I did that made that plate really easy to clean up. This is just alcohol. It's what I typically clean with. Grab yourself a napkin, and what I do is lay your napkin out, and then you can take your plate that I stuck on a piece of paper. That's a terrible idea. All right, so take your plate, and I just drop it in my alcohol and carefully let it kind of saturate the one side. I would wear gloves. I don't have my gloves on, but you know, resin, you definitely should wear gloves with. So put your gloves on. So I get that side in, then I flip it around, do the other side. And this does a great job kind of getting all of that resin out of those gaps. So take that, put it on your napkin, let that set, let it drain. And this is what I found to be the easiest way to clean this thing. So with that said, why don't we just roll into final impressions? So overall, this unit, for me, it worked really well. I did have some trouble initially because it is in a colder climate. And as we know, resin gets really thick in colder climates, harder to work with. It's not recommended. I was able to increase my exposure time. I waited for the weather to improve a little bit, increase that exposure time, and things turned out really good. I talked about the cleanup a few minutes ago. That's another thing that I really like about this unit. I am a fan of the automatic feeding unit. I know some aren't. I like it because, going back to that colder climate, it's the only way to heat your filament to get some sort of heat in the unit, because of that itself doesn't heat up. So I like the USB ports on top. I like the screen on top. I have had a spill or two, and guess what? I didn't spill it on anything important. It just spilled on my table. So I like this unit. I would recommend it. Price point, it's right at $400 when I looked the other day with the combo. I would jump for that. I think that's a good deal. I think that's the better deal to do. I would recommend it. I think it's a good entry-level printer. It doesn't have all the features that some of the higher end ones do, but for getting started with resin, I think this is one of the easier ways to do it. That's all I got, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Aaron. This is the Printosaurus. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I can't wait to do the next video with you guys, and I can't do any of this without you guys. So thank you. See you guys.